And we pick up the action in the first game with Janové Voldner leading by 3.
Well, for those wondering where Liu Gu Liang is from China, he was upset in the quarterfinals by Voldner. And what an upset that was, because he was the number 3 seed.
Also the defending gold medalist on.
That's right. And so a big win by Voldner. But, man, Voldner's been around so long, I feel like that I was watching him play when I was a teenager. So,
Dream on.
you know, I don't know how old Voldner is, but he's got to be upwards around 40 by now for sure.
6-8.
He's certainly been around for a long time. I mean, his Olympic participation goes, well, back at least until Barcelona.
I wouldn't be surprised if it goes before that. But,
well, yeah, the tournament started, table tennis made its Olympic appearance at the Seoul Games in 1988. And Janové Voldner took part in Seoul 12 years ago, and he finished 8th. Then in 1992, Janové Voldner came back and won the gold medal in the men's singles. And the man he's up against, Vladimir Samsonov, finished 5th in Atlanta. And Janové Voldner did not place at all. Shot by the Swede.
it's just amazing full table play. These guys are back from the table hitting just amazing angles. What a shot by Voldner there. You could see the spin he put on that. It just curled away from Samsonov. Voldner here out to a 12-10 lead. But Samsonov trying really to make a comeback here in this game. They seem to have each other's style down because they're really feeding off each other, giving very exciting points here for the crowd.
Well, Don, that's an absolute shock that Liu Gu Liang has bowed out. He's the defending singles and doubles gold medalist from Atlanta. He's been up in the world's top 3 consistently for the past 4 years. And in fact, it was, what do you see, it was Kong Ling Hoi who he partnered to the doubles gold in Atlanta. That would have been a tough call to recover that.
Well, Voldner, they know, is one of the most dangerous people on the table tennis circuit, because even when he's having a down period, he's capable of upsetting anybody, and everybody knows it. You can see he has very quick reactions. He's strong off both his backhand and forehand side. Look at this. These guys retrieving and smashing is just unreal. You can see Voldner is hot.
Well, Don, you said Voldner's getting a bit long in the tooth. He's 35. I'm 35. I take umbrage to that.
Well, he was playing as a teenager at the top level, so he's been around close to 20 years, and that's what I mean by long in the tooth. He's just really been there forever, it seems like.
Yeah, well, he was 23 when he made his Olympic debut in 1988. But again, that was the first year that table tennis appeared at the Olympic Games. A sport with 40 million registered players around the world. It was actually a surprise it took that long to be included in the Olympic program.
Well, misjudged that one. That was obviously the spin that Samsonov put on that. Sure point for Waldner. He just lost concentration. And another missed shot by Waldner. He's slipping in his concentration a little bit. Now, Samsonov reached the semifinals, beating Jorg Roskopf from Germany. Waldner calls for a timeout to stop this run of Samsonov. It looked like he had this game in hand at 18-13, and then all of a sudden he's only leading by 2. Young looking 35 though, he still looks pretty young. Not quite as trim as we saw him in his younger years. This is that long rally, I believe. They were back deep and hits that cross-court forehand. It just spins away from Samsonov. Look at that.
16-18.
Incredible spin.
Going for just a little too much spin.
All of a sudden, it's a close game. It was a real runaway for Waldner, but now only a 1-point difference.
Don, it's also good to see the other great Swede, Jorgen Persson, who is also here at the Olympics. He also took part at the Seoul Olympics in 1988, where he finished 7th. He's 34 years old. And I'll tell you, just when it looked like the Chinese were going to take a stranglehold on this sport about 10 years ago, out of nowhere came the Swedes. Very similar to the situation with Denmark and their badminton. They just decided, right, that's a racket sport we're going to do well at. And out of nowhere, they've started producing world champions.
Well, it just takes one person to come on the scene from their country to do well, and then all of a sudden it excites everybody, and they think they can all do it. Very tight first game here, 19-all. And what a time for Samsonov to go for a huge hit. He's just been playing consistent, crawled all the way back to tie it up at 19-all. Waldner with game point. A very nervous coach here. He's got a few ulcers chewing on the inside of his cheek. Of course, they have to win by 2, and they trade serves on table tennis. Well, it tipped the net, and now game point for Samsonov. Waldner serving. It went all the way to the 5th game. And Waldner to serve.
So you're looking at the world number 5, Janno Waldner. And he's playing the world number 2, Vladimir Samsonov. So Samsonov has slipped a little over the past year, and that top spot in the world rankings has been taken over by Kong Ling Hui of China.
Oh.
Look at that. That was almost insulting. He didn't even move his feet.
Well, and look at the spin when it comes off the table. Just take a look at this. See that spin?
He knew it was coming. He was working off Janové Voldner's spin. So we've been looking at the cream of men's table tennis this morning. Our earlier match boasted the world number 1, Kong Ling Hui, and the world number 6, Werner Schlegel of Austria. And now the world numbers 5 and 2.
Well, Voldner, of course, beating world number 3, Li Gu Liang, in the quarterfinals.
Well, that was a shocker. Li Gu Liang has dropped to 3rd in the world rankings, but always a tough competitor, especially at Olympic Games time.
Well, the other semifinals has already been set up to be played, and that's with Jorgen Pearson from Sweden, ranked number 7 in the world, against, of course, Kong Ling Hui, who we just watched play earlier. So, kind of unusual in this sport to see only one Chinese in the semifinals, but Kong Ling Hui will have to carry the flag for the rest of the Chinese team, trying to get another gold medal for China. It's kind of strange. We saw in the other match that from that side of the table that Voldner is on, that they were mishitting the ball a bit also. So, of course, now I say that, of course, Samsonov has to mishit from his side, but Samsonov taking a 6-3 lead here in the second game. Well, it looks like right now, Andrew, that Voldner is just playing in streaks. When he's on, he's really giving Samsonov trouble, but Samsonov just the more consistent player. And again, why did he miss hit? Huge amounts of spin on that top spin backhand from Voldner. They do look at their paddles after points, and it's just not, they're trying to blame their paddles sometimes, but in table tennis, if just a drop of perspiration lands on their paddle, it completely affects the hit of the ball. It can slide off the paddle instead of stick, and so they try to make sure that not only their paddle is clean before every point, but their side of the table. Samsonov leads 8-7. So just when Voldner fought back to make it 7-all, he loses 3 quick points. 4 quick points. Quick backhand there by Samsonov just really caught Voldner just a little bit late. Change of pace by Samsonov, and boy, does it work. And you know, he didn't hit that backhand that hard, did he, Andrew? But boy, what spin is on this thing.
And what sweat is on the paddle as well. Of course, the hand grip's generally just the smooth wood.
So again, Waldner just really streaky in his play. And here he comes roaring back again. And strange style that Samsonov has. He's got his wrist hanging way, way down when he hits that forehand. But obviously effective, and now look at, here's Waldner. He's brought it back to within 1 point. Samsonov calls for the timeout. Well, maybe not a timeout, just going to towel off. Just trying to break the rhythm of Waldner, stop this streak. Quick backhand by Waldner.
Waldner just broke up the pace there. You could see Samsonov was getting in his stride, so he thought, I'm going to take the pace off it with that shot there. And then came back with another quickie. 13-all.
So Waldner with the lead for the first time in this game. And then Samsonov comes with the attack off the soft return by Waldner. So bad luck for Samsonov off the net. So not much between the two. Waldner to serve. Well, that was good down the line by Waldner because he'd been coming back cross-court almost all the time on these forehands like that, and then he changes it up with that backhand, completely fools Samsonov. Oh, nice return by Samsonov. Tons of underspin. Well, I tell you what, it'd be hard to bet against Samsonov because he just is so consistent. And Waldner, with his streaky play, gets streaky here and now hits a few good shots. He could win this second game. But again, he could do that too.
Don, I've just been given a list of world rankings from the International Table Tennis Federation website on the internet, and it differs from the world rankings we have from the official Sydney 2000 website. So just updating, Wang Li-Chin of China, who the ITTF says is the world number one. He's not even here in the singles competition. Kong Ling Hoi is world number 2. So the two players you're looking at are the world number 7 there in the yellow, Sweden, and Vladimir Samsonov of Belarus. Belarus, has held the world #1 ranking, is currently ranked 3rd in the world. 18 all.
I think what's happened is they have said the earlier list was the world ranking, but that is actually probably the seeding for the Olympics, because we know that Wang Lingying from China is not here. And I believe one of the other players in the top 7 is not here. So that's the reason Waldner, I think, is 5, and it shows that Kong Ling Hui is the #1 ranked player.
Yeah, Cheng Peng Lung from Chinese Taipei is also not here, and it's 2018, or is that 21? It is. Well, I tell you, they're relatively close games, Don, but overall, I'd say it's fair to say Samsonov powering away.
Yeah, he's just too consistent. And you just can't depend on a streaky player to be streaky at the right luck involved in that. Swedish coach basically saying, well, what do you think about this match? And coming from 2 games to 0 down, it's going to be very tough for Waldner to come back. You can see how they released the ball, no spin.
So again, competitors are allowed to try and disguise a serve in whatever way they possibly can, but they are definitely not allowed to actually spin the ball. It has to go from the cupped hand straight up into the air at a distance higher than 6 inches. As high as they like, really, but it's got to go up at least 6 inches from the table, that is. So as Waldner gets some advice from his coach and Samsonov, we'll take a break and be back shortly. Stay with us.
When you see the girl of your dreams.
The work of Jan-Ove Waldner of Sweden, the game scores are of course close. They were within 2 or 3 points. But Samsonov just looks the smoother and more relaxed of the 2 players. Jan-Ove Waldner, a real veteran, he's 35 years old. He's taken part in 3 Olympic Games. In fact, this is his 4th Olympics. And he's trailing 2 games to 0.
Well, he streaked out here in this game to a 6-1 lead. Samsonov just doesn't look like he's really into it yet. And that's what Waldner has to avoid, is those simple errors. And that's just a matter of concentration. Like in any racket sport, you have to be focused on the ball, nothing else. And again, another mishit.
Don, you mentioned the synthetic rubber on the paddles, which are checked by officials after each match. Of course, they have to do that because even though the ITTF sets standards for rubber coating in manufacture, it makes no difference because a lot of these guys just rip it straight off anyway and put their own favoured surface on, whether it be slightly softer or harder.
Yeah, they make all kinds of adjustments to the paddles. And look at this, Waldner was up 6-1, and now Samsonov with no errors. And a few quick forehands like that, and he's back to 6-all. So how quickly he comes back. We saw it in the first game, and now we see it here in the 3rd game. Few mistakes by Samsonov. We haven't seen this very often, but lets Waldner squeeze ahead again, 9-6.
Well, he's come back from about a 4 or 5 point deficit, so things not looking too bad for Samsonov. even though he trails by 3 in this game after winning the first 2.
And how many times have we seen that? Waldner sets it up and then misses the relatively easy shot. And that, again, is concentration. I tell you, when Waldner flicks that backhand, it comes back like a rocket. It's just unbelievable. And there he did it again, but look at this. Goodness, Samsonov is really a retriever. I can't believe how far back he was getting those 2. Look at this.
Well, they'll go back as far as they possibly can, and finally the Swede takes care of that shot. We'll be back after this break. Stay with us.
The race is on. Live from the track.
There is still certainly time for the Swede to claw his way back and win 3-2.
Well, certainly, Andrew, if he will eliminate the unforced errors, which he's been doing the last half of this game, then anything can happen. But that's what he has to eliminate right there, those little easy shots where he tries for too much.
Well, I think it's amazing that at the age, if you compare this with tennis, that at the age of 35, Jan-Ove Waldner is still in the world's top 5. Well, actually top 7, but top 5 according to these Olympic seedings.
Well, Waldner with game point.
Yes, he's done it. So there is still fight left in this match. I mean, how many tennis players do you see at the age of 35 still ranked in the top world top 7? Not often.
Not often, and one of the reasons is just because of injuries that they tend to suffer, and then also interest. To stay enthusiastic when you've been around the sport for 20 years is not an easy thing to do. Now, one thing is with table tennis, they've done extensive studies on reaction time, and they show that the fastest reaction times are by 30 to 39-year-olds. 40 to 49 actually has the same reaction time, they said in these tests, as 20 to 29-year-olds. So table tennis being more closely associated with reaction time than any other sport, maybe it isn't so surprising to see Waldner there.
Absolutely. It's very, very instinctive. A real reflex sport, and Samsonov just always on the back foot in this point. Waldner getting a little impatient, thinking, hey, this has gone on quite long enough. Time to stop.
Well, Samsonov had a real letdown in that third game. You could see he didn't have nearly the intensity he had before. Great shot from this overhead camera.
And Don, I'm amazed at the tricks that players can get up to disguise their serve. Again, that they're restricted in that they can't spin the ball, but it is amazing how they can still hide from their opponent. Absolutely a lot of trickery involved, and a small army of Swedish fans here, which you also see at the Australian Open every year. Some of the more vocal fans.
So coming out for the fourth game, Vladimir Samsonov winning the first 2 in very tight contests, and Waldner really running away with it in the third game. Waldner to serve. Oh, and he catches the edge of the table.
And apologizes.
Well, nothing to apologize there. He'd really set this up. Look how far he had Waldner out, and then just catches the edge of the table. So I'd say these first 10 points of this fourth game are going to be critical.
Well, just to let you know that we were scheduled to go off air at 9 o'clock, but we are committed to this live coverage, so we will be continuing with the program until this men's table tennis singles semi-final is completed between Jano Waldner and Vladimir Samsonov. So, yes, we will stick with this live coverage until the completion of the match.
Well, Waldner making a bunch of unforced errors here at the start of this game has given Samsonov a 4-love lead, or 4-1 lead. I wouldn't be surprised here, Andrew, to see both players starting to tighten up a bit. I mean, that's a reverse of styles. Waldner just basically keeping it in play, and Samsonov with the air going for too much. Of course, he didn't get over the net because of all that underspin, that slice that Samsonov put on it. What is the best result Waldner has had in Olympic competition?
Jan Ove Waldner, Don, you go all the way back to the Barcelona Olympics. He won the gold medal there in men's singles. So he's got obviously a lot of pedigree, a former world number one, former Olympic gold medalist in singles.
Well, this here is a great shot by Waldner. Take a look at this. From below the table, look at that shot. Unbelievable.
Again, it's not just the fact that he won the gold in Barcelona. I think it's also the fact that he was a competitor here in this sport at the Seoul Olympics in '88. So there are not many Olympians around, I can tell you, that have taken part in 4 Olympics that are still competing.
He says, back at you.
I don't think he's going to apologize, though.
Well,
far from it. In fact, he wasn't actually looking at Samsonov. He was looking somewhere else when he thrust that fist in the air.
He was looking at his coach.
Yeah.
Well, all of a sudden, a little fire in the belly of Waldner.
Well, he spoke about older players keeping their motivation. There certainly seems no problems with motivation for Jan Ove Waldner, who is still ranked inside the world's top 10.
Well, it's that heavy underspin from Samsonov that really has been giving Waldner trouble throughout this entire match. Samsonov trying to keep himself up and excited, full of energy. He knows he's got to keep his energy up because he's not playing a slouch here. He totally respects Waldner's style of play. Backhand of Waldner, man, he just cracks it when it comes there. It looks like nothing's going to happen, and it really comes off.
It's deceptive. He doesn't swing at all. There's hardly any arm movement. Did that clip the table? No, just missed.
Well, of course, Waldner's backhand is classic. It's really one of the scariest shots for the other pros. It always has been since he showed up. Of course, any shot that seems like it comes out of nowhere is a difficult shot for his opponents.
I'll tell you, Waldner, Don, if you look back, he's been one of the most inconsistent players, really.
10.
Overall, he's been up there, but he's really hit some dark patches.
9-10.
He was Probably the best run he had was at the 1989 World Championships. That was just after he finished. I think it was 5th at the Seoul Games. He was unbeatable at the 1989 Worlds, but at the 88 Olympics, he actually went in as the medal favourite, but he finished way down in the standings. And then again at the 1992 European Championships, he was eliminated in the quarterfinals after also going in as the medal favourite. In Barcelona, though, he played probably the best he played since he started at this level. He lost just one game to Roskopf, and then he beat all other opponents in straight games on the way to the gold medal.
Well, his ranking has gone up and down, and when he's on, he is literally unbeatable. Look at that backhand. Again, just hardly any movement at all. That's the biggest swing we've seen take on the backhand, but it just comes off like a rocket. Just a flick of the wrist, literally.
Legend.
Well, a quick backhand by Samsonov there.
So, Jano Voldner not running away with this game, but he does lead by 3. And the way he's playing, it's becoming increasingly difficult for Samsonov to, well, there you go, to really launch a fight back.
Not able to control that heavy underspin that he hit, floated off the end of the table. Tried that change of pace you were talking about earlier there, Andrew, and did not get away with it that time.
Service.
Well, I don't know who this umpire is, but she actually was calling the score wrong in an earlier game and disturbed the rhythm of the players there.
Voldner now leads by 5. He trails, though, by 2 games to 1.
Net.
Voldner out with an 18-12 lead, just like he did the game before, and almost identical to what he did in the first game. So can he keep his concentration, avoid those unforced errors, and close out this 4th game? Well, I played a lot of table tennis through high school and the start of college, and boy, I tell you, the momentum and rhythm can change so quickly. Lead is not that big of a lead in this sport. And there you see 2 quick answers by Samsonov. So these next couple points are critical for both sides. And there is a big attacking forehand by Voldner. 1914. That brings up game point.
Game point, yes. Of course, not match point, but this, if he can pull it off, will level things at 2 games all.
15-20, Samsonov.
And the serve changes back to Samsonov. Sweden have already won 1 gold medal in the pool, thanks to Lars Frölander.
16-20.
And they are, well, at this stage, still on target to win another gold here at the table tennis venue. So one of the most high-profile sports in Sweden, and a lot of pressure on both the players, Persson and Waldner, and their coach.
Well, this would be unbelievable if Samsonov can come back from this deficit, but he's already pulled it back to within 3. And look at that, another unforced error by Waldner.
Look at the coach, he's thinking, you've just got to win 1 point, and then you're home. It's level, and the way Waldner's playing, you'd have to favour him in a 5th.
Oh, there he does it.
Now we're level, 2-all. This match has everything. It's a semi-final. These two fighting for a place in the gold medal match. And just to remind you, again, we are committed to this live coverage. We do apologise for anyone at home waiting to see following programs. They have been delayed until the completion of this match. Again, an all-important semi-final. These two fighting for a place in the gold medal match of the men's singles table tennis. So we do apologise. We were supposed to go off air at 9 o'clock this morning, but we will continue this match with live coverage until it's finished.
Well, Andrew, not exactly the way Waldner would have liked to have finished that game. He would have liked to finish it in control and really up. And actually, Samsonov was playing the best toward the end of that game. So he might go into the 5th game, Samsonov, with a more positive attitude than Waldner, but still level at 2 games all.
Well, both of them are going to appreciate the break to take stock of things. But if you look back at this is one of the best tournaments for men's singles in all of the Olympics. If you look at some of the players who've been eliminated, I mean, Janove Waldner has already taken care of Lu Guliang of China, the defending gold medalist, and the world number 4. Roskopf of Germany, who's also been a keen competitor here at the Olympics over the past 2 games, knocked out by Samsonov in the quarters. 5th and deciding game. I thought I heard the sound of that just clipping the table, but obviously not. The point to Samsonov. And the Chinese characters at the bottom of your screen now. The names, well, I was going to say names of our nighttime commentators, but we just have one man in the booth, one-man show this morning, Mr. Sakkamwa. And a reminder, all this coverage on TVB PEARL coming to you in Nikam with Cantonese commentary.
2 quick forehand smashes down the line there. Only down the line because he runs all the way around his backhand to hit it. Samsonov got the last one that close to the table. When he hit it, it just sounded so miscued that, but that's amazing, that underspin. That could have been easily missed by Waldner. Look how close that came. Again, Waldner with that forehand up that line. 3 points of the 4 he's won has been that same shot. Opens it up and then just right down the line.
6-3.
That blistering Waldner backhand.
That was clever play by Samsonov, reaching right down the length of the table and cutting that one off the pass, 5-4.
I'd like to see a replay of that one. Looks like we're going to get a chance to. This backhand right here by Waldner is a blisterer, and look at Samsonov's return. So all even. 2 games all, 5 all in the 5th game.
So it's the old master in the form of this man, Jan-Ove Waldner, against the young gun. 11 years his junior, Vladimir Samsonov. With what success this 24-year-old Belarusian has had in his short but stellar career. Former world ranking of #1, he's currently ranked 3rd in the world.
So I think they're just trying to get a lot of fans with sweaty palms coming down here in this 5th and final game.
Waldner really mixing the pace up. And he picks up a point for it. Well, Don, good to see the applause in the stadium is finally starting to correspond with what we're seeing here. This match has really gone into overtime, and I think it sounds like most of the matches here have wrapped up, and everyone has their eyes here at the State Sports Centre on this men's singles semi-final, fighting for a place in the gold medal match. Waldner trails 9-8.
Waldner backhand again comes off so quick, it's like a shot.
I'll tell you, Don, the Chinese are going to have to fight tooth and nail to win a gold medal in the men's singles table tennis. They've been racking up golds like crazy over the past few days in particular. They're just behind the US in the standings, 14-16 gold at last count. It may have changed in the first couple of hours of the games in Sydney this morning.
10-9. Continue
Well,
playing.
Kong Ling Hui, of course, had to fight for his life in that quarterfinals. He was down 2-1 against Slegger, and Slegger ended up losing that in 5.
9-11. Samsonov.
Yeah, so we've had 2 Europeans in one semi-final, so definitely either a Swede or a Belarusian in that one spot. And the other semi-final, just a reminder, between Jürgen Persson of Sweden and Kong Ling Hui of China, the world's #1. No, actually, correction, world #2, I should say. And the men's singles final will be played out tomorrow. No, in fact, Monday. Correction.
Samsonov trying to slam that heavy underspin by Waldner. No luck. Samsonov really struggling to find a way around Waldner's play when Waldner eliminates his errors. And from the very beginning, when Waldner has not been making the unforced errors, he's had the upper hand, and that's been the secret the last 3 games. Waldner just eliminating those unforced errors.
Well, Don, what we've seen so far, players that have called a timeout, they have usually had their backs to the wall, they've looked despondent, they've looked exhausted. And now Samsonov, who looked like he was going to run away with this match, taking a 2-0 lead. Will now have to draw on everything he has. He trails by 3 points, but holds serve in this 5th and deciding game.
Waldner going for that forehand that he just did not miss at the start. Missed it there. 11-12. And that's that little bit of sweat that gets on that rubberized surface. It just becomes like glass. The ball slips off there. There's no way they can control it. And they've got to keep the table dry and the paddle dry. Big miss by Waldner there. That wasn't even close. So all tied up.
Lots of it in your face. I don't think even Samsonov, the great retriever, is going to try and chase that one down.
Well, how many times have we seen when somebody's in that position smashing, they get frustrated and end up missing after they've had about 5 or 6 smashes?
Well, that's experience for you. A 35-year-old who's been playing this game for, well, close to 20 years. First Olympic appearance 12 years ago. And again, there are not many competitive Olympians around who are here taking part in their 4th games. One of them, of course, is Steve Redgrave. He goes back a lot further than that, looking for a consecutive 5th gold. And his final race on sometime this morning. We'll keep you updated on that on the camera. 3-point lead for Janové Waldner, and the Belarusian coach with a very different look on his face than he had about 45 minutes ago.
Quick backhand again, just caught Samsonov. Samsonov was lucky to even retrieve it.
Donna, I think one of the big differences between these two players is that Janové Waldner is mixing his shots up. He's changing the pace of the ball so much more often than Samsonov, who seems to be relying more on, well, he prefers the speedier style of play. And again, 11 years difference in age and playing experience between these two. Well, this is a scene. What a fight back.
Waldner has to keep the unforced errors out of his games, and then then go for the shots when he has it. Oh, what a point by Samsonov. It looked like Waldner had that point sewed up. Great retrieving.
Well, the Belarusian just has to put out of his mind the fact that he was leading by 2-0 at one point, and has now got this Swede all over him in the 5th and deciding.
Oh, and he gets it off the edge
Yeah,
of the
that
table.
was just off the edge, but at this time, at this stage of the match, or is it?
No, what we saw, that little tip, it must have hit the
I'm
net.
sure he heard a click as well, listen. No, that's just long. That's over the edge.
That looked like it caught. Yes, they've readjusted the score.
Right, okay,
So we did have it right.
Yeah, initially they went up, gave that point to Janové Voldner, and it's now gone back to Samsonov.
Oh, and look at that change of pace by Waldner.
Well, again, he can do this whenever he wants, and Samsonov either can't do it or is just not willing to do it.
I mean, Waldner just whiffed that.
And of course, Waldner coming back to serve, and he's just 2 points away from victory and a shot at the gold medal.
Wow, these are the two toughest points to win of the entire match right here. Everybody knows that. It's almost easier to play from behind.
Look at this, he can't watch. Actually, I can see some movement on the arm. I think he's writing something down. That was Samsonov's coach.
There's 1 point back for Samsonov. Waldner actually looks a little bit nervous right now. Let's hope he just doesn't make the unforced errors. So close. Oh, and Samsonov got nervous. His arm would hardly move on that last retrieval.
This is great, though. Janové Voldner, being a typical Swede in racket sports, I think, he's not going to show any emotion until he's definitely out of the woods. Match point, keeping concentration all the way to the end. Oh, did you see that spin? So let's see what this Belarusian's really made of.
He's made of good stuff. He's brought it back to 2019. Waldner with his third match point.
I'm glad we've stayed with this live coverage. We were scheduled to go off air at 9, so apologies for you waiting for some of the children's programming due to start at 9. We'll continue this. And that's it, all over. Janové Voldner into the gold medal match against either,
He cannot believe it.
Jorgen Persson or Kongling Hui.
Look at that. He has absolutely stunned himself that he won this match. Look at this.